All right, let's get right into it. When we hear the word resurrection, we usually think of some old myth, a metaphor. But what we're talking about here is something real, something that happens inside of you, a deep, personal transformation. This is about the story you start telling yourself after it feels like the world has already written your final chapter. Just sit with that for a second. That feeling of being stuck, defined by who you used to be, by old mistakes, by a narrative that just doesn't fit anymore. That feeling is exactly where this whole journey starts, because that's the very ground where something new is about to grow. And this is a really crucial idea right from the get-go. We're always told we need to find our purpose, like it's some needle in a haystack. But what if that's all wrong? The idea here is that the transformation itself, the process of shedding everything you are not, is what actually forges you into your purpose. You don't find it, you become it. So where does a journey like this even begin? Well, it starts in a place that feels a lot like an ending. We're calling it the sealed tomb. This is all about that state of being buried by doubt, by pain, and by all those voices on the outside telling you that it's over. This is the story they tell you, right? It's the weight of everyone else's judgment and expectations. And man, it can feel like a giant stone sealing you in. It's this belief that you've peaked, that your best days are in the rearview mirror. It's a really powerful, confining story, but inside, a totally different one is starting to form. And I love this contrast. The world looks at you and says, you disappeared. But the reality, your truth, is something else entirely. You got quiet. You remembered. See, it wasn't a disappearance at all. It was a strategic retreat, a time to get quiet enough to remember who you really are underneath all that noise. And here it is, the turning point. But notice where the action is happening. It's not some rescue from the outside. The tomb is within you, which means the power to open it has to come from the inside too. This is that moment, that declaration that shifts everything from being buried to breaking free. Which brings us perfectly to section 2, the stone rolls within. Now we're going to get into the mechanics of this awakening. Where does this power actually come from? How does it work? So let's redefine what we're talking about here. This kind of resurrection isn't about waiting for a miracle to fall out of the sky. It's an innate power, something that's already coded in your breath. It's not a gentle awakening. It's an eruption from within that was there all along, just waiting. And this is where the whole perspective flips. You're no longer the passive victim of your story. You are the active agent of your own rebirth. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't luck. It was an act of your own will. You were the one who rolled the stone away from the inside. And the ripple effect of this is just profound. It's so much bigger than just you. This internal change, this personal resurrection, it has generational consequences. By changing your own story, you literally become, as it says, a new punctuation. You stop those old inherited patterns right in their tracks and start a whole new story for everyone who comes after you. Okay, so you can't talk about a rebirth without talking about what came before. That brings us to section 3, Sacred Scars, Carved Grace. This is where we reframe the very pain that put you in that tomb to begin with. This is such a fundamental shift in how we see hardship. That pain, that trauma, it wasn't the end of you. It was the beginning. It was like a seed being planted in the dark, and the pressure just cracked you open enough for the first bit of light to get inside. The very thing that felt like it was destroying you was actually creating the opening. There's a kind of beautiful logic to this process. First, the trauma comes in and it just clears out all the junk, everything that isn't truly essential. Then, in the silence that follows, which isn't empty by the way, your soul finally gets a chance to speak. And it's in that new space that wisdom can finally grow. So, those marks, the ones left over from your struggles, they get a total rebrand. They stop being symbols of shame or weakness and become something totally different. They become your credentials, the proof of what you've overcome. They become your altar, the sacred evidence of your transformation. And this is the ultimate reframe, isn't it? Every single obstacle, every moment you thought was a dead end or a failure, was actually just foundational work. It was all just setting the stage for the person you are about to become. Absolutely nothing was wasted. All of this leads us to our final, powerful act. Section 4, Your Second Coming. This is all about what it actually looks and feels like to live in this new, empowered reality day in and day out. Let's be really clear about the scale of what we're talking about here. This isn't just a minor tweak. It's not a bounce back. This is a fundamental root-level shift of your entire being. It's a cosmic-level rewiring of who you are and how you move through the world. This points to a whole new identity. You're not just a person with a story anymore. You are awareness itself, wearing a body. You are spirit in motion. You are, quite literally, fire in flesh. Think of it like a massive upgrade. The goal isn't just doing better anymore or just surviving. You've graduated. Now it's about doing destiny. It's about igniting. You're not just out there talking about the dream, you are the living, breathing embodiment of it. And that really is the whole mission. To live this new truth so completely, so unapologetically, that your very existence becomes the proof. You don't have to convince anybody of anything. You just have to be. Your life is the evidence. So after this whole journey, this is where we land. The resurrection is not some story about someone else from long ago. It's not some future event you're waiting for. It's you, right here, right now. And the most exciting part, this isn't the happy ending. This is the real beginning. And so that leaves us with one final thought. This whole process has forged a new voice for you, an authority that you've earned through fire. Your entire life has become a powerful story. So the only question left is, now, what will you say?